Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about Superman. I love the movie. I have not been shy about that. Seen the movie 3 times. I think that's enough for theatrical. I wanted to go for the fourth time, just hadn't had a time to go see it for that fourth time, but it should be getting ready to hit VOD any second now. And I will just catch it on that. If you guys are new to the channel, please do me a favor, smash that thumbs up and subscribe button. We're trying to get to 29,000 subscribers. I would like to hit that by the end of the year. If we can do that a little bit sooner, I would appreciate it. Can only do that with your support. So James Gunn has come out and talked about the profitability of Superman, because Superman just crossed the profitability margin, which it needed to hit 550 to 555 in order to break even. Well, now the movie has surpassed the 550 mark and is now being able to accumulate profitability. Now, right now, by the time I'm recording this video, Superman has made 579 million. It's very possible that it will hit 800 million or 600 million rather before it hit VOD. It is still trending in the top 10 movies of the summer. As you can see, it's number 6 this past weekend. So it's very, very, very possible that it will hit the 600 million mark. So yeah, that's all really good news for the movie. And like I said, James Gunn has come out and said, yeah, this movie is now profitable. So let's get into all the critiques, the whining, the complaining online. I never seen so many people that claim to be fans of Superman and fans of DC wanting to justify a movie failing. And James Gunn actually came out because a lot of people were saying that this movie needed to hit 700 million in order to break even. And James Gunn even come out and even said that. I'll read his tweet. So this guy came out on, I believe this was Threads. He said, people online keep saying Superman needs to make 650 to break even and to be a success. Is that true? And James Gunn says absolutely false. Anyone saying that doesn't understand the film business. And James Gunn, this is very important. James Gunn said we would have to be idiots to make a first film in a franchise that needed to make that much money to be profitable. And that's pretty much what everybody is kind of like. Anybody who looks at this stuff logically would realize, like, no, you're not going to come out with your first movie. This is the start of a new franchise, the start of a new universe. This is a reboot. You know, you have, plus a lot of the DCEU films toward the end started bombing. You cannot come out with a movie that needs to make $700-800 million in order to break even. So the budget was relatively small. I still feel like that budget could have got a lot smaller. If you actually go into like how much James Gunn was making, you could have cut a lot of that stuff. But nonetheless, the movie is now profitable, regardless of what the haters say, how people try to spin it, because you're going to have those people that, and look, I like Man of Steel, guys. I like Man of Steel. Is it my favorite Superman movie of all time? No, it's not. But I still enjoy the movie. It's a movie that the more I watch, the more I appreciate it. Do I like Henry Cavill as Superman? Absolutely. Right? That's not taking away anything. And for people trying to compare the box office for Superman, a movie that has taken place after flop after flop after flop after flop, to be the first DC movie to be successful in a very long time, where Superman, Man of Steel rather, was coming after the Dark Knight trilogy, and the movie going experience was much different. We didn't have movies going to VOD in like 30 days. It's comparing apples to oranges. And I never understood why people are so hateful and toxic. If you don't like the movie, you don't have to like the movie. No one's telling you that you have to enjoy David Cornsweet as Superman, that you have to like this movie, that this is the definitive Superman movie. I'm not saying that one bit. What I'm saying is the movie's profitable. The movie has made a profit. Okay, it's the only superhero movie this year that has made a profit. All 3 of the MCU films has flopped like a fish on a dock after you catch it in the ocean. Like every one of the MCU movies, and for the record, guys, that's no shade on the MCU because I enjoyed every one of those MCU movies. I felt like MCU was finally getting on track and doing what they were supposed to do, but the box office numbers are the box office numbers. That's not something I make up. It is what it is. Superman is the only film this year that is profitable when it comes to superheroes. In the comic book world, Superman is the only film profitable this year, and it's the start of a new universe. Again, how many of the DCEU films just failed at the end? Superman had a huge burden on his shoulders in order to overcome that stigma, and it's still not fully overcome. You have this loud minority online that just want to preach Snyder this, Snyder that, Snyder that. It's absolutely ludicrous. And it just goes to show you how out of touch and how out of sync with reality a lot of these people are. And I always use the same example, time in, time out. I am a massive fan of Andrew Garfield. Massive, massive, massive fan. That is my definitive Spider-Man. I remember when Andrew Garfield Spider-Man came out, everybody was like, oh, Toby's bad. I don't know why there's this tribalism where people have to compare stuff all the time. I understand the comparison, but if I like Andrew Garfield, you don't have to come up to me and call me stupid because you like Toby. It is what it is. If you like Henry Cavill, perfectly fine, right? I'm not going to go up to my friend Danny, who does Storms Live with me every Sunday, and go, you need to like David Cornsweet. No, you like Henry Cavill? I like Henry Cavill too. I think we can all objectively agree Henry got screwed. Like, we can all sit there and say that. You can blame whoever you want, Walter Hamada, Warner Brothers, DC, The Rock. Blame whoever you want to blame. It's not David Cornsweet's fault, and it sure as heck ain't James Gunn's fault. So why are you holding such a grudge on this film? I did not hold a grudge on Tom Holland when they decided to go a new direction with Spider-Man. I understood that Amazing Spider-Man 2 isn't what the studio wanted the movie to make, and then they signed a deal. Sony was going through a lot of trouble at the time. They had emails leaked, phone texts leaked, all kinds of stuff, and they partnered up with Marvel and they rebooted Spider-Man. That's fine. Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 will always live in my collection, in my library, and I can watch those movies anytime I want. They're not going anywhere. The studio isn't coming to my house and taking my library of Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies and throwing it so I can never watch it again. They exist right there. And guess what? Many years later, I got the conclusion that I wanted with Spider-Man No Way Home. I got the conclusion that I wanted with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Like, it's not that big of a deal. They wanted to go younger. They wanted to go a different direction with Tom Holland. Perfectly fine. I still think that Captain America Civil War was the most comic accurate Spider-Man I have ever seen on screen. And I really enjoyed David Cornsweet's Superman. I like the fact that I left the theater with a sense of hope and awe and a smile, that I'm sitting there, I'm humming the music of the movie. Like, Superman does some Superman stuff, and they're just playing that score in the background, and it's so beautiful, and it got me emotional. And it made me think of my mom who passed away, who used to sew red capes on my shirts when I was a little boy. Like, it gave me that feeling. Man of Steel didn't give me that feeling. Man of Steel, I enjoyed. It was Superman just kicking straight ass. And that's what a lot of people want. They just want Superman just to be like this strong statue figure that's just going to beat the crap out of everybody. I want a Superman that has heart, that has emotion, that makes me happy, that makes me leaving the theater uplifted. That's what I wanted. That's what I got. And the movie's profitable. Yay, it's profitable. Let's move on to Supergirl. Superman has made me even that much more anticipating Supergirl, which I'm a Supergirl fan. I owned every issue of every version of Supergirl in the comic books, but I was skeptical about this movie. Now I'm super excited for it. I just don't understand why we live in a world where everybody is so cynical all the time. It's okay to come out and have have discussions and talk about things that we don't like or things that can be improved, criticism, that's perfectly fine. But people out there, they are just blinded by this hatred over a movie that they don't even have to watch. I don't understand it. It's crazy. But James Gunn has come out. He confirmed now that the movie is profitable, which is something that we all should be celebrating, that a superhero film is successful, especially after what's been going on in the MCU. And like I said, it's possible that this movie might cross 600 million. Did it make as much as Man of Steel? No, but that's perfectly fine. Two completely different circumstances. I know I'm going to have idiots in the comments going, Rob, you're wrong. Rob, you're capping. Rob, you're doing this. Those people are so narrow-minded. Their IQ doesn't surpass the basement level of the building, if you know what I'm saying. Anybody who has any kind of common sense can actually look at things logically, and you can compare the time period that Man of Steel came out with the time period now. I mean, look at the MCU, their movies now compared to what they were making then. Completely different circumstances. There's a plethora of different reasons why it is the way it is, and we should just celebrate the fact that this movie was successful. We're getting a sequel. We're getting a Supergirl movie, and this universe is moving forward. And let's just be happy that we're getting good films. That's just my thoughts on it. Again, just my opinion, but I want to know what you guys think. Please do me a favor, smash that like and subscribe button. On our way to 29,000. Can only do that with your support. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. Love you. Take it easy. Stay safe. Later.